want to show you how to coat your bottles with insecticides for the CDC bottle bioassay. But first, think about safety. So you need some sort of eye protection. Safety goggles are recommended since there's a splash hazard. Chemical resistant gloves and a lab coat or long sleeve shirts for working with pesticides. So what you're going to need is you're going to need at least 5 of the bottles. You're going to need your insecticide stock solution, which you've pre-made, and a little bit of acetone, and then at least 2 disposable pipettes. I highly recommend labeling one with one color tape for acetone and the other with the insecticide name. You'll also want to pre-label your bottles, both the caps and the bottles themselves. So bottles 1 through 4, and then C for control. And this one's going to be acetone only, so that's why it's a different color, to help you visually see that it's different. All right, so we'll start with the acetone bottle first. So I'm going to uncap this one and take my acetone and my acetone pipette, and I'm going to get 1 milliliter of acetone, put it into the bottle, set that to the side, and then cap it. And now that one's completed. And now I'm going to put 1 ml of the insecticide solution into each of these bottles. So you can uncap them all at once.
If your stock solution has been stored, bring it to room temperature for 1 hour and mix it as shown in the previous video and below.
Take your insecticide pipette, get 1 milliliter of your insecticide, put it into your bottle. And then what I like to do is I like to cap this right after adding the 1 milliliter for 2 reasons. One, because it keeps the acetone from evaporating before you get a chance to coat the bottle. And then 2, it prevents you from accidentally adding a second 1 ml to this bottle so that you know you can move on. So we're just going to do the same thing for all the other bottles. All right, so once you've finished adding all the insecticides and or acetone into your bottles, then we're going to start coating them. So first thing you want to do is you want to swirl the insecticide at the bottom of the bottle. Then you're going to invert it, make sure the cap is tight so that we coat the inside of the cap. And then you're going to let the insecticide come down to the sides so you can tilt it at a 45-degree angle. And you just full rotation so that you get all the edges. And then we can lay it on the sides. And then we're going to continue with all the other ones. And from this point, you're going to roll the bottles with the caps on them, on their sides. You can do this for a set amount of time, like a minute or a set number of rolls. But the one thing is you want to make sure that you're getting a full rotation in the bottle, that it's not just, moving part of the way. I do recommend that you roll the bottles on a coated surface, a soft surface, not a hard surface, because otherwise you'll get scratches on the sides of your bottles and it'll make it harder for you to read them. So rolling it on a soft surface prevents that and prolongs the life of the bottles. And once you're done rolling them, then you're going to take the caps off. You're going to put them the inside up. And you can lay this here and take all the caps off of all of them. And this is why we labeled the caps and the bottles with the same numbers, because we need to make sure that the caps go back to their original bottles so that you get the same insecticide coating for all of them. And then we're just going to roll the bottles again for the same amount of time to help encourage them to dry.
If you have access to a fume hood, rolling the bottles without caps in the fume hood will allow them to dry faster.
Right, and then once you're done rolling them with the caps off, I highly recommend that you put the bottles back into their box with the caps off.
Putting the bottles back in the box reduces light exposure that can degrade the insecticides. This is especially important if you are working outside.
And then if you have access to a fume hood, now would be the time that you would put them in the fume hood with the fume hood on to help make them dry a little bit quicker, or put a fan blowing across them. Try to introduce as much air as you can to dry them out. It's recommended this should take roughly an hour to dry the bottles, but that time can vary depending on the humidity and the temperature of your location. After that time has come, you're going to take the control bottle, safety first, and you're going to whiff it, the top. If it still smells like acetone, then it's not dry yet and you need to wait. If it doesn't smell like acetone anymore, then that means the bottles are dry and ready to be used. You can put the caps back on them, make sure the caps go back to their matching bottles. And just one more thing, it's highly recommended that you make and coat the bottles the same day that you plan to use them. Just because some insecticides can store for a longer period of time pre-coated in bottles, and some don't. Some need to be used immediately. So it's easier if you just do it all the day that you plan to use them, and then you don't have to worry about it. Join me in the next video where I'll show you how to aspirate mosquitoes into the bottles and start testing.